All right, so I'm excited for tonight. Thank you guys again for hopping on here. I'm probably still going to have to keep admitting some people to the room, but it's totally fine. This is recorded, so you can watch it again or share it with somebody. So tonight, we're going to start with chapter 10. We're doing 10, 11, and 12. And 10 is called Further Use of the Will. Basically, the way this chapter starts out is quit telling your old stories. Quit telling the way things used to be, or the way things even are right now, the way they were when you grew up, or the way the things that aren't beneficial. And when I say that, I mean the old stories of, well, we didn't have this when we were growing up, or we didn't know this, or we didn't believe this, or we lived in this place, or my dad used to say this, or my mom we all have that stuff. And it's totally fine to acknowledge it, like, whoo, I'm aware of this now. Okay, great. Remember I told you, my mom and dad used to say money doesn't grow on trees. And I'm like, whatever. That line of trees out there, they're pear trees, but I swear they're money trees. And so it doesn't matter what used to be in your past. That needs to be not in your current vocabulary. Okay, so those things don't need to keep coming up over and over again. Because basically what he says is, you've accepted a certain theory of the universe as being correct and are resting all your hopes of happiness on it being correct. So in order for you to fully accept this, you can't keep talking about the broke situation. And I know, especially in It Works, a lot of times people will tell their old story. They'll tell how they were on food stamps, or they were on government assistance, or they were, bankrupt, their lights went out, whatever, all this kind of stuff, kind of like the rags to riches story. And I'm not saying it's wrong by any means, but think about if you're constantly saying that same story over and over again, and you're always starting with the oh, woe is me part. And I'm not saying you can't acknowledge it, because it is who you are and where you came from if that's your situation. But what he's saying here is we can't keep repeating those things over and over again. We can't keep saying, well, I used to be broke, I was on food stamps, because, a lot of times in social media, you share your story over and over and over and over and over again. And so if you're constantly sharing that, even if you are at the point where it's like, woo, I made it, I'm so successful now, 6-figure income earner, or millionaires club, or whatever, if you're constantly sharing that old stuff, what's that still lingering around? What are you still giving some energy to? And so he says you've got to put a stop to that. You have to put a stop to that. All right? The world is not coming to an end, just things are crazy right now. Everything's good with God, but you have to interest yourself with yourself and the world becoming rich. So the only way in which you can assist the world in growing rich is by growing rich yourself through the creative mode. So yeah, things used to be rough for me in my past. I found this, and here's where I'm going, or here's what's already improved, right? So, and I'm not saying my way, this way, not saying the way I do things is 100% perfect. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not saying forget, if you've been in a bad situation, like, I just know everything I know to my course, even like Abraham, for those of you guys listen to Abraham Hicks, everything says, let go of the old story. Let it go. Stop speaking of the poverty. Stop speaking of the bankruptcy. Stop speaking of the brokenness that you used to be. Even if it's part of the story, like, let it go. And the reason why you're trying to do that is you're trying to connect and relate to other people. And when you're trying to connect and to relate to other people, then you're going down that old path you used to be on to make that connection with them, to then make yourself, you have those feelings, but you really want to connect to where you are now and where you're going. And so that has to be something. I don't know why it's still like, Stacey, they're not getting it. Okay, I'm saying the same things over and over again. They're not getting it. Okay, so when you're telling your story, when you're speaking on social media, when you're typing it out, where are you currently right now? What are the positives that have changed in your life? Because of It Works, which I think this is okay. This is a good point. So when you have somebody on stage, even whether it's at a Try-It or whatever, they now say the last couple of years, because of it works, and you're supposed to share some beneficial things that have happened because of it works. Not go down that path, that old story. Well, this is where I came from. This is what my story is. Share your story. Because of it works, I'm able to pay my electric bill on time. I'm able to fill my gas tank up to the fullest. I'm able to buy a new pair of cleats for my kids' soccer game. I'm able to purchase these extra items that I needed for my kids, XYZ, whatever, or I'm able to treat myself to a girls' night, or because of it works, I'm able to do these things. So when you stay focused on the things that are beneficial in your life, you're going to get more of those. When you keep wanting to go back to the I used to be, I had all of these problems, that's still what you're giving some energy to. And he's saying, cut the old energy. And I don't have a rags to riches story as far as finances go. Like I told you, I swore that money tree produced money, and money always came into my life. Always. I started babysitting at age 12. Before that, my grandmother would, oh, honey, let me float you alone all the time. And she didn't have money rolling out of her purse. But back then, a couple dollars was a big deal. Or she'd take me to the mall and give me that new wardrobe that cost like $150. Now it's like $150 for what? What can I get for that? Oh no. No, I'm joking. But this is a $19.99 t-shirt from a little place down in Key Largo a couple months ago. So, but I'm just saying, you guys, I always knew the money was there. I always knew I was going to be rich someday. I always knew it. It was just always, even though my parents didn't say it, I just had that in me for some reason. And if you didn't, that's okay, but you do now, because you know how to think and act a certain way, and you know that you can't focus on poverty and focus on lack and focus on the poor people, and this is all horrible. There's a lot of crap going on, but at the end of the day, you create your economy, you create your world, you create what's going on in your bank account in your life, and you create how much is in it and how little is in it. So you want to stay focused on all the blessings that you have in gratitude, and all the blessings that are coming in gratitude. Okay. All right. Whew. Oh, that took 6 minutes. Not speaking directly to any one of you specifically. I'm just saying, when I sit down here to do this, it's just like the stuff that comes out beyond what is on the pages, I don't really have control over it. It's just, I can feel things and sense things, and I get pushes and nudges and things where I'm like, and they're like, no, say this, say this. So, and I'm saying it's just the stuff I hear in my head. So spirit, God, source, beings, whatever you want to call it, I get those prompts a lot. All right. So the very best thing you can do for the whole world is to make the most of yourself. To become really rich is the noblest aim you can have in life, for it includes everything else. I mean, how does that sound to you guys? If someone walked up to you and said, now, to become really rich is the noblest aim you can have in life, for it includes everything else, you'd be like, yeah, sign me up for that. Where are those peeps? I want to be connected to those people, right? I want to be around all these people that are telling me it's the noblest thing I can do to get rich. But you have to come into the creative mind. It has to happen from the creative, not the competitive. And he says, I repeat, to become rich, you must fix your attention upon your mental picture of wealth to the exclusion of all that may tend to dim or obscure the vision, including your bank account, right? Some people remain in poverty because they are ignorant of the fact that there is wealth for them. And these can best be taught by showing them the way to affluence in your own person and practice. It's by example. You are leading by example by doing it yourself. And you're showing and you're sharing these examples of how things have changed for you and how things are beneficial for you because of. Okay, so it's not bragging. You're not like, ooh, look at me, check me out, I got all this money, or ooh, I'm able to pay my bills, I went to Whole Foods instead of Aldi. You're not bragging. It's not, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, I just don't shop at Aldi. But you're not bragging. You're just saying, like, look what I've done, and you can do the same. So you're an inspiration to others. because you're staying connected to source. You're staying in that creative mode. I had a friend over yesterday for lunch, and she's a very successful businesswoman, and we've become really good friends over the last year. And we were talking about social media and posting, and she's like, I've just been I've just not posted. I just didn't even want to do it. And I said, I don't post anything unless I'm prompted to. Unless I get a feeling, something inspires me, I'm not going to post. I'm not going to sit down and just randomly post stuff because it's time to post. I don't copy and paste stuff because it's time to post this and I need content up. I want to feel it. And whether it's I'm out on a run or a bike ride and ideas come in, shower. Oh my God, I hope you guys shower daily, right? So the bathroom for me is a huge place of light bulb moments when I'm doing that stuff, washing my hair, shaving my legs, brushing my teeth, putting on makeup when I do that anymore, but putting on makeup. I came out the other day and Brent's like, who are you? I had eye makeup on. He's like, oh my God, I don't even recognize you. And I'm like, I know, shush. But, I mean, I go out every day, but I'm going to personal care appointments and stuff. It's not like I'm, running through Starbucks. It's not like I'm going out, date night. We haven't had like major date night or anything, and we're on the boat, whatever. But it's those moments that you want to tap into that creative source, that creativeness that's inside of you. And that happens when you do your meditations, when you stay focused and centered in the things that are in this book. That's when you're tapping into that creative side. And then you'll see those ideas pop in your head, like, oh, I'm going to post this, or I'm going to share this. And even if it's my food, like the other day I was like, oh, the voice is back. It's peppercorn ranch. That's the craziest thing. I swear to you, I've never had a voice in my head over a type of dressing to make. And I had 2 different times, a peppercorn ranch and ginger citrus, and man, they were to die for. But I'm like, that's not me. I don't never made a peppercorn ranch or a ginger citrus dressing. So I'm like, oh God, Google, okay. But that's just telling you, you're staying connected. And not that I'm tapped in, tuned in 24/7. I'm not. There was a moment, was it yesterday? Yesterday, I was just like, I could feel this just overwhelming energy of crazy chaos. And I'm like, I told Brian, I said, I'm just going to go upstairs. It was later in the evening yesterday. And I said, I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to put in my 10-minute meditation, 11-minute meditation. I'm just going to do that. I just need a minute. I need my oils. I grab my frankincense and my valor. And I just need to calm, center, focus, and just breathe. Day before yesterday. And I'm just 11 minutes. And he's like, okay, no problem. 11 minutes. Okay, I'm back and connected again. So, it's not like you can stay in that vortex, as Abraham calls it, 24/7, but you want to stay in that feeling, that creative mode, okay, for yourself. So he says, others are poor because while they feel there is a way out, they're too intellectually indolent to put forth the mental effort necessary to find a way and travel. So remember, he talked about using your will on yourself mentally, using your will on yourself, not on other people, but on yourself. And that's what this is about here. So he said others are poor while they have some notion of science, and they become so swamped and lost in a maze of theories, blah, blah, blah. They don't know which road to take. So basically for these, again, the very best thing to do is to show the right way in your own person and practice. An ounce of doing is worth a pound of theorizing. The very best thing you can do for the whole world is to make the most of yourself. If you get rich by the creative method. So make the most of yourself. And you do not need to read any other book upon the subject. So I know that I said this in my post earlier, and I've said this to you guys before, because a lot of like, I'm reading this book and I'm reading that book and da. And maybe you are super successful and you're super rich and you've already got tons of money and you're going to read all the books you want, right? That's fine. He said this may sound narrow and egotistical, but consider there is no more scientific method of computation in mathematics than by addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. No other method is possible. There can be but one shortest distance between 2 points. And there is only one way to think scientifically, and that is to think in the way that leads the most direct and simple route to the goal. No one has yet formulated a briefer or less complex system than this set forth here in this book. It's been stripped of all non-essentials, and when you commence on this, lay all others aside, put them out of your mind. Read this book every day. Keep it with you, commit it to memory, and don't think about other systems or theories, okay? And so this is super important that you guys realize this. that this book, I mean, I know there's other things I'm talking about this, or you see me posting about that, or you see other people, oh, she's reading this, or so-and-so's reading that. This is the basis. This is the basics. And this is literally it, you guys. I've read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. I listen to audios in my car every time I'm in the car. So right now I'm not listening to as many because of the whole thing. I'm not traveling in my car as much. Sorry, Nigel's snoring. Nigel. She is snoring uncontrollably. I'm ready to kick her off the bed. But I know for a fact that this is it. This is the core of what you need to read and read and read and read and read. And then once you make your first 100,000 in a year, then you can continue to read and expand on other books. And I'm really serious when I say that, because that's what I did. I didn't read anything else. I mean, I didn't. They said, read this until you get rich. And for me, rich meant $100,000 a year. So I'm like, great, done. I'm going to keep reading. And I read it every single day, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And he talks about that, reading it every day. Okay, so the end of this chapter, he says, this is important that you get this and that you write it in your journal, write it in your gratitude journal, write in your notebook, hang it up, read it, put it in your bathroom. There is a substance, there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces a thing that's imaged by the thought. A person can bring things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon a formless substance, can cause a thing he thinks about to be created. You think it, you can cause it to be created. In order to do this, a person must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. He must form a clear mental picture of the things he wants and hold his picture in his thoughts with a fixed purpose to get what he wants, and the unwavering faith that he does get what he wants, closing his mind against all that may tend to shake his purpose, dim his vision, or quench his faith. And in addition to this, we shall now see that he must live and act a certain way. So this is like the main point of the book. And the part that I'm going to talk to you guys about next, acting in a certain way, that I think this is like a big, huge meat piece. But I got to get Nigel off this bed because she's snoring and I cannot handle the background noise myself. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can't handle it. Come here. Come on. Oh my gosh, you're so big. Can you say hi? Say hi. Bye. Okay. Go. You're snoring. Can't deal with it. Okay. I absolutely cannot handle a snoring dog or a snoring person. So I'm like, out, you're out. Oh, she's trying to get back in. Okay. So you guys, this is huge, acting in a certain way. This right here is like the meat and bones. So you've got your gratitude, you've got your thoughts. She just broke through the door. You got your gratitude and your thoughts, and now you've got your action. Okay. So thoughts. Oh, we got our thoughts, right? So you've been maybe making lists, things that you're thinking about that you want to create, your desires, your goals, that kind of stuff. So thought is the creative power or the impelling force which causes the creative power to act. So thinking in a certain way will bring riches to you, but you must not rely upon thought alone, paying no attention to personal action. So you can think about it and you can bring the riches to you. Here's a key point. If you don't act, this is the rock upon which many otherwise scientific thinkers may shipwreck, the failure to connect thought with personal action. Thought alone is not going to do it. Remember me telling you about the lady that let her just sit there in bed and prayed all day long? I'm just like, it's going to happen. Blah, blah, blah. She had no action. I kept telling her, you've got to have the action. You've got to get out there and give God something to bless. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. So a person not only think, but he must have personal action to supplement his thoughts. So by thought, you can cause the gold in the hearts of the mountains to be impelled towards you, but it's not going to mind itself. It's not going to mind itself. That's where the action comes in, right? It's not going to refine itself, point itself into double edges or double eagles and come rolling along the road, seeking its way into your pocket. So you can have thought. It's like the people are like, I want to win the lottery. Well, you're not going to win if you don't go to the dang store and buy a ticket. You got to go do something, right? So you're not going to get rich unless you actually put forth the action towards it. So you may have a thought, but you're just a dreamer. You've got to have the action, okay? So under this part right here is so huge. Under the impelling power of the Supreme Spirit, it's God, right? Source. People's affairs will be so ordered that someone will be led to mine the gold for you. Others people's business transactions will be so directed that the gold will be brought toward you, and you must so arrange your own business affairs that you may be able to receive it when it comes to you. Remember we talked about the receptive mode last week, being in the receptive mode, open to receive. Your thought makes all things animate and inanimate work to bring you what you want, but your personal activity must be such that you can rightly receive what you want when it reaches you. You're not to take it as charity or to steal it. You must give every person more in use value than he gives you in cash value. So this is super important that you guys understand this as it relates to, for those of you that are in It Works business, as it relates to you in that. So you can have the idea of you want this rank or this promotion or this income, this team, right? But it's the action that you take on a consistent basis, giving people more value than you take in return in cash value. So giving them more value. Remember, we talked about your posts. We talked about the things that you're saying, the things that you're offering for people, the things that you're putting out there as content, that it's of value to people. And you know, it doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be this grand thing, right? It can be something simple and small as just even a picture, you know, that has a quote on it that can impact somebody's life. It can be a new workout routine you share, a new exercise or food thing that you share, something that's not even related to any of that. It can be just, you know, hey, I saw that, you know, so-and-so business has this sale going on. If you guys are looking for blah, 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 you know, for your kids, for camp or whatever, check out these great deals. Like, you're not asking for anything in return. You're just giving information out there to help people. That's how you're adding value. So it doesn't have to necessarily be about a product that you're doing. And more than not, it's best that it's not, because you don't want to come across like you're always pushing these products out there trying to sell to people. So you want to be offering things that you're not expecting that cash value in return, right? So you can give them more value. So the scientific use of thought consists in forming a clear and distinct mental image of what you want, holding fast to your purpose to get what you want, and realizing with a grateful faith that you do get what you want. Your faith and purpose positively impresses your vision upon formless substance, which has the same desire for more life that you have. And this vision received from you sets all the creative forces at work in and through the regular channels of action, but directed towards you. It is not your part to guide or supervise the creative process. All you have to do with that is to retain your vision, stick to your purpose, and maintain your faith and gratitude. It's using your will on yourself. Right here, I've told you guys this before. Success or failure is in your head. It doesn't matter where you live, remember? It doesn't matter. If someone in the state that you live in is rich, then you can get rich too. If someone is rich in the city you live in, then you can get rich too. If someone is rich in this business, then you can get rich in this business too. What is the difference? The thought process of the people. Right? It doesn't matter your size, your shape, your color, male, female, locate. None of that matters. All that matters is this. We all have pasts. We all have crap. We all have stories. We all have traumas. We all have life. We all have stuff we've been through. I went to a Tony Robbins thing years ago, and he said, stand up if you've ever had this thought, I don't deserve this, or I'm not good enough for this, or I'm not worthy of this. I'm not enough. Everybody stood up. Raise your hand if you've ever felt like you didn't, you weren't going to make it, like you weren't going to be successful. Stand up if you've ever, he went through all of the limiting beliefs, and I can't even think of any more of them right now, because I think I've completely almost tried to eliminate all of them out of my mind. You can get into that too down the road. This is going to get you there. This is your starting platform, right? So he went through all of them, and he's like, you guys, we all have the same like 2,000-year-old reptilian brain. I mean, it's all the same stuff that everybody else has experienced. So it's not like you're the only one out there that's feeling comparison to somebody else. It's not like you're the only one out there that's feeling like you're not good enough. Like everybody feels that at different times. All right. But all you have to do is retain your vision, stick to your purpose, and maintain your faith and gratitude, knowing that those things have happened for everybody, but you're not going to focus on them. You're going to focus on that gratitude for the little things, right? And the things that you are creating. But you must act in a certain way so that you can appropriate what is yours when it comes to you, and so that you can meet the things that you have in your picture and put them in the proper places when they arrive. So you can really see the truth of this. When things reach you, they'll be in the hands of others who will ask an equivalent for them. You can only get what is yours by giving the other person what is rightfully his. So it's all, again, about trading that, giving that value, more value than you're getting in return in cash value, right? So this is a crucial point in the science of getting rich. Right here, where thought and personal action must be combined. He has this in bold in my book. The very many people who consciously and unconsciously see the creative forces in action by the strength and persistence of their desires, but who remain poor because they do not provide for the reception of the thing they want when it comes. By thought, the thing you want is brought to you. By action, you receive it. So when you're in your business, so you're saying, I want to promote to Diamond. Your action is where you're going to see those blessings, that consistent action. You know, they always say entrepreneurs will work 80 hours a week to avoid working 40 hours a week. People here's the thing. Okay, so if you want big goals and dreams, you're on here because you want to get rich, right? It's going to require your mental effort, your mental will on yourself, thinking a certain way. It's going to require action. It's going to require work, and probably more than you've ever done in anything else. If you truly want to get rich and you're willing to put forth the time, energy, and effort into it, it's all about your thoughts and having these thoughts in a certain way. Your actions, your follow-ups, your phone calls, your text messages, your invites, your events, the things you do yourself. Not that somebody in your upline does for you. And there's nothing wrong. I'm having a virtual party tomorrow night. Everybody's invited. Invite people. You've got to do the work. You've got to invite the people, right? What if you start having your own virtual parties on the side? What if you take the post and copy and paste them and start doing your own little ones on the side? What if you start having your own Starbucks get-togethers on the side, right? You're not waiting for someone to do it for you. Well, I'm waiting for my upline to get together. Nobody's able to get together. People are getting together everywhere. People are getting together everywhere, period, no matter what. They're getting together in their driveways. I mean, I can't even go. We take Taylor on a golf cart ride every night. The roads are packed with people. In our subdivision, in our neighborhood, they're getting together in the parks. They're sitting, there's 3-4 golf carts together. They're sitting together. Have your greens, have your reds, have your collagen. You know, you show up. I don't ever leave my house without one of these things full of something red. Because whether it's the hydrate, or I put that in a BCAA, or I use the red and I put that with hydrate, and I use the greens and I put that with the hydrate. I put everything with hydrate. So, you know, you always have that opportunity there to get some people together. So even if your state is still, you know, technically shut down, unless you're in New York City, which is still, you know, nobody is. So get people together. Take the initiative to do it yourself. Source blesses your actions, your efforts. That's where you'll see the blessings pop in. Not when you wait for somebody else to do it for you. Not when someone tells you, have you sent your messages out? Have you contacted 12 people today? Have you done your 6 list? You using your will on yourself. And if you're new and you're like, I don't even know what to do in this business. I'm not for sure how to contact people or what to say. I mean, obviously that's what your upline's here for, right? They're here to help you. They're here to help you, hey, here's some scripts, here's some things, copy and paste this, tweak it, make it yours, That's obviously we're here to help, but you're going to have to do it, and you're going to get in that creative space so that you can make it your own, right? Because when it's your own, your ownership, you earn it. And the blessings are huge when you can tap into that creative mode within inside of yourself, right? Because then you have that sense of ownership to it. You're like, I did this. This was a lot of work. This was a lot of midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. nights, and getting up at 6 a.m. And then I got kids screaming, and I got a husband, and I got food, and I got this, and just turn your underwear inside out. We don't have time for laundry right now. Or order more on Amazon. You get a 12-pack. I don't know. Whatever. We'll deal with it. So that's the part about being an entrepreneur. It's that action that you take with that unwavering faith. Like, this is going to happen. I'm going to make it happen. Come hell or high water, I'm going to do this for my family, or that's the purpose, for my family, for myself, for my kids, for my health, for whatever it is. It's that purpose, that why, and that action that goes behind it. So key. Thought and personal action must be combined. Okay? By thought, the thing you want is brought to you. By action, you receive it. Whatever your action is to be, it is evident that you must act now. You can't act in the past, and you can't act in the future. Remember, we're letting that past go. Remember, we're taking on these beliefs, these things that are scientifically, mathematically proven. You've got to be in the present moment. Be present. Be present with what you do. So like today, I went and I had to run some errands. I had to go to the post office. I had to mail some stuff off, just a couple different things. And I just set my car. I made the virtual party. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to take this time right now, and I'm going to send out these messages about the virtual. All right. Do a couple more things I need to do. I'm going to take this time right now. I'm going to be very present and focused, and I'm going to send out these messages to my current loyal customers and let them know about the BOGO. All right, take a little time. I'm going to send out this specific message to potential loyals that had bought Skinny Brew from me in the past, letting them know that it's on BOGO. And I took a picture of the Skinny Brew and the Keto Coffee and the Thermofite X by my pool. So I sent that to all of them. So it's very intentional. This block of time here, this block of time here, this block of time here. And you can do it whatever works for you. But I want to be present in what I'm doing. Because when you're present with something, the energy is going to be there. I signed 3 loyals today just from being present with what I was doing in that moment. So that's super important. You can't think about the past. You can't think about the future, even though you've got those goals, right? You got to be present with that action, that when you're doing that action. So people are like, I'm going to multitask, and we're going to talk about this in the next chapter. And I think it's in the next chapter, or maybe, no, it's in this one. I don't know. This one or the next one. Multitasking, it doesn't work. It's proven it doesn't work. You're not effective versus just doing something and getting it done and moving on. So multitasking, you're going to try to feed the kids. You're going to try to send these messages. You're going to try to invite to here. You're going to try to, your energy's scattered, and everything's energy. So people pick up on that. When they know you're present and you're there, even if you're copying and pasting a message and you're sending to them, you're present in that moment and this is your only focus, that's felt energetically. That's the magnet that pulls to you. I've got a handful of people right now that are current distributors that haven't ordered in forever, and I sent them the BOGO, and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know, did you see the BOGO? And they're like, oh my God, I'm getting on there right now and ordering. I got another handful of customers that I just signed up in the last week that I sent the message to, hey girl, just want to let you know there's a BOGO. Whoops, I'm on. Can I order 2 of those, 2 of those, 2 of those? Yes, yes, yes. Can I let you know tomorrow morning? Sure, no problem. So it's just being present with those things. Super important, okay? And put your whole mind into your present action daily. And be okay with the fact that you may be working more than 2 hours a day to get your goals. I mean, think about it. If you have a job, you're expected to work 8 hours a day, right? Maybe 10. We have 24 hours in a day. You can work 2 8-hour jobs. 8 and 8's only 16. right? What if you only worked 8 and 4? What if you worked your It Works business 4 hours a day and you worked your full-time job 8 hours a day? That still gives you 12 more hours. So you sleep 6, you still got 6 hours to do whatever you want to do with. You don't need 6 hours. I mean, just work your business. Put your effort into it, put your energy into it, put your time into it, because it will pay you tenfold. It will come back to you tenfold if you're present with that. There's never any time but now, and there's never will be any time but now. And if you're ever going to begin to make ready for the reception of what you want, you must begin now in your present environment. And here's where he talks about, so say you're at a job that you don't like, you're in an environment that you don't like, you still have to act in that environment in the best and every way that you can do everything. So like when I first read this, I was teaching, obviously. And so I wrote on the side, do what I've always done. And it says, it is probable that your actions, at least for some time to come, will be the same ones you have been performing for some time in the past. So as a teacher, my job was to show up and be the best teacher that I could for those kids, no matter what. And at the time, this was 17 years ago when I got, was it 17 years ago? 15 years ago when I got into network marketing. Yeah, 15 years ago, I was teaching full time and the kids were 1 and 3. And so for that 9-month period, we didn't have social media. We didn't have Zoom. We didn't even have text. We only had email. That's it. That's how you communicate with people, or you call them on the phone, or you wrote a handwritten note and you put it in the mail. So we didn't have the easy ways to communicate with people. And so you guys, I worked all day as a teacher. You had to be there like at 7 o'clock and you left at 3. So whatever those hours are, I don't know. And then I would work my network marketing business all afternoon and all evening and on the weekends. And I barely saw my kids at all, but for that 9 months. But you guys know, obviously, the end of that story, at the end of that 9 months, I finished that school year. I completed my duties. I did the best I could with those kids in those classrooms every single day. Every day I showed up. I was present. I was there. As soon as it was plan period, Stacy had people in her classroom and sitting in classroom desks across from each other. Adults would show up. As soon as it was lunch, I had people showing up. As soon as that day was over, then I was gone and I was going to meet with more people, because back then, obviously, it was only belly to belly. So you utilize that time that you have, your breaks or your lunches, that kind of stuff. But I worked for 9 solid months and I didn't put my head up. Not one time. I don't remember a birthday for my kids. I don't remember Halloween. I don't remember Thanksgiving. I don't remember Christmas. I don't remember Easter. Neither do my kids. They were 1 and 3. All they remember is the day after I quit teaching, Taylor, we're out on the playground playing, and she looks up at me and she goes, Mommy, you don't have to teach anymore. You get to stay home with us because of Arbonne. At 3 years old, she knew that Mommy put her head down and worked her butt off. And at the end of it, Mommy now has freedom and she can work her business around her kids and around her family. And now Taylor can go with me. And she went with me for a full year before she ended up going to the hospital, to every meeting. That girl had a backpack ready to go everywhere. She had the little Leapster thing. She had money in there because we'd go to Starbucks. She'd go get her little cookie and her little water. She went to every meeting, travel 3-4 hours away. She was there at 3 years old, 4 years old. She knew Mommy worked so hard so she didn't have to be gone every day, all day during the day. And I could be with her and she could be with me and we could go and do different things, different places. And then obviously after she got out of the hospital and then I got into It Works, then Trey started going with me. He was not good in the beginning when he was 1. So he didn't get to go when he was 1. We did one meeting. We're like, Taylor and I were like, we're not doing this again. But when he was older, he was 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old. When I got into It Works, he went with me everywhere. Everywhere. That kid at 7, 8 years old was standing up in a front of a conference room with a whiteboard, teaching, charting people to Ruby, charting adults to Ruby with his little shirt on. He made his little business cards. Like, he was so all into this because he also watched Mommy, even though he didn't get to go with me as much when he was tiny. He did start when he was 5. And so he did. And that kid never, ever, 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 ever in Indiana went to school on Monday because mommy had Monday morning meetups. And every Monday, mommy met at Starbucks with all her distributors on our team. And we had our Monday morning meetups where we did our goal setting and we did our personal development time, and we did our plans and wrote out our goals for the week. And we had our actions and planned out the whole month. Every Monday he met, and he went to a little private school. So we paid for him to go. And guess what? This kid didn't go on Mondays because he's going to school with mommy. And that's what he did every single Monday, literally, until we moved here 5 years ago. He went every single Monday with me to Monday morning meetup. And so obviously the teachers were, okay, well, he's not going to be here on Mondays. Nope, because he's going to be with me at Starbucks at 9 a.m. And then we're going to go have lunch together, and then he's going to watch mommy work all day long. He's going to listen to me on the phone. He's going to listen to me interact with people, and that's his education. And now that school's not important, I feel that it is important in certain times and places, of course, but also coming from a teacher background, self-education is key. I have not had to teach that kid a thing his entire life as far as schoolwork, bookwork, anything. You pay attention, you listen, you do your work, you apply yourself. We had this whole whatever this thing is. He straight A's, did everything himself. I didn't even have to ask anything. And I haven't for years. I don't have to check his backpack. I don't look for his homework, nothing. But I started him when he's little. Self-education, pay attention, listen, and then you apply the things that you hear and you do in your life. And so if your kids are older, whatever, I'm not saying anything about your parenting. I'm just saying the things that have worked for me, I'm getting to see those things work in my son's life as well too. Even at 15, he started day trading with my social security number, of course. So he's got his apps and he's day trading. He's made thousands of dollars over the last 4 or 5 months just by learning. He watches videos for everything. You can YouTube how to do everything you want to do, but you've got to act, and you've got to be in that mindset, that thinking that certain way and acting that certain way. And then he ends, of course, in this chapter, where he says, hold the vision of yourself in the job you want while you act with faith and purpose on the job you have, and you'll certainly get the job you want. Your vision and faith will set the creative force in motion to bring it towards you, and your action will cause the forces in your own environment to move toward the place you want. So in closing, he reads this whole thing again, but then he adds at the bottom, so that he may receive what he wants when it comes, a person must act now upon the people and things in his present environment. So this is about wherever you are currently in your job, whatever you're doing, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you're a receptionist, whether you're a teacher, whatever profession, a Walmart greeter, I don't know. Whatever you're doing, you have to act now upon the people and things in your present environment with the best of your ability, while you're also staying open to the things that are coming to you with an unwavering faith and that purpose for what you want. All right, you guys, efficient action. So chapter 12. Oh, I love this chapter too. I love all these chapters. Okay, so in this he says you must use your thoughts as directed in previous chapters. You begin to do what you can do where you are, right? And you must do all that you can do where you are. You can advance only by being larger than your present place. And no one is larger than his present place who leaves undone any of the work pertaining to that place. So this is about doing the best that you can where you are. So that way you actually outgrow it. There's no way I could have replaced my teacher's salary in 3 months, and by the end of the school year, 6 months later, making $15,000 a year if I hadn't done my job where I was with those kids. You have to do the best you can in the position that you are in. So if you're a stay-at-home mommy, you need to have that time that you're present with those kids, being the best stay-at-home mommy you can. You have to do that. Be the best at what you're currently doing. Even if you don't want to do it. Even if all you want is to get enough money to send those kids to freaking camp. You still need to be that best mommy and be present with them at moments that you have, right? So he talks about evolution is caused by the excess of life. You getting rich depends upon your applying this principle into your own affairs. So every day is either a successful day or a day of failure. And it's the successful days, which get you what you want. If every day is a failure, you're never going to get rich. Well, if every day is a success, you cannot fail to get rich. So there's this bottom of this page here. There's something that's super important though. There's something that may be done today and you do not do it. You've failed insofar as the thing is concerned, and the consequences may be more disastrous than you imagine. So this is super important, you guys. If there's something that may be done today in your current position, whether it's whatever, your current job or your current, if you're a stay-at-home mom with your kids, if there's something that can be done today and you don't do it, you failed insofar as that thing is concerned. And the consequences may be more disastrous than you can imagine. So I'm going to tell you, this is what we're going to talk about here, how this builds on this. So you can't foresee the results of even the most trivial act. You don't know the workings of all the forces that have been set moving in your behalf. Much may be depending on your doing one simple act. And it may be that very thing, which is the door, the open to the door to the opportunity of great possibilities. You can never know all the combinations which the Supreme Intelligence is making for you in the world of things, of human affairs. Your neglect or failure to do some small thing may cause a long delay in getting what you want. Do every day all that can be done that day. And I'm not saying you've got a list of things to do. Oh my God, I didn't get all these things done. And that's why, like in this business, a lot of times you'll see there's a 6 list. Like, these are 6 things that I absolutely am going to do today. So if you look at those things, let's say, for example, you've got 6, I'm going to make these follow-ups. I'm going to send these messages. I'm going to schedule this event. I'm going to book this party. I'm going to, meet with this girl, blah, 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 whatever. And you decide to blow something off. Nah, I'm not going to do that today. I don't feel like doing that. I'm over this. Like, this is the same old stuff I'm always doing. I'm just not going to do that today. The consequences from that decision could be huge. Could be completely wrecking your entire business. If you're making those decisions on a daily basis or even on a consistent basis, those are not the right actions to get you where you want to go. And remember, in this business, income producing activity is what actually generates the income that comes into you. Income producing activity is not like doing a post on social media, right? We do those things, but that's not income producing. The income producing is the actual conversations with people, the meeting with people, the events, the things that you're doing to have those conversations, right? That's the actual income producing activity. The time spent adding more value to somebody than what you're taking in return. That's income producing, okay? In person or through Messenger if you're messaging with people, right? So your neglect or failure to do some small thing may cause a long delay in getting what you want. I'm just going to binge watch this show on Netflix. I'm just going to go for, I'm going to go meet my friend. We're going to grab some ice cream. I'm just not going to do these things today. But then tomorrow you want to be Ruby again. Okay, so scratch everything you've done so far because you screwed all that up by making those decisions to just blow it off and not do it. And I understand if things happen, oh my gosh, my kid this, or I had to go here, or this happened here, or I had to go pick my mom up, blah, blah, blah. Things happen and you didn't get to what you had planned. You can move things to your list to the next day. I'm not saying you have to complete this 6 list every single day or you're not going to be successful. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying when you have things that you're set, these things must be done today. These messages have to go out. For example, I've got a party tomorrow night, a virtual party. Have you invited anyone to it? That should be on your list. To send private messages to people to invite them to this event. We've got a huge BOGO. Have you done that yet? If it hasn't happened yet, why not? Maybe you haven't had the time to sit down. Okay. When is that time? When is that time? If this is available for you to be able to use to help you build your business, to reach out to people, to share with people this information, when is the time that you're going to do that? If you decide to sit down with hubby and watch 3 hours of XYZ shows and you don't send out those messages and you just kind of let it go and you don't do it, that can be more disastrous for your business than anything. That there are consequences. And that's what he's saying here. Now, he's not saying overwork. Don't overwork. Don't try to get as many things done as possible and kill yourself. He's absolutely not saying that. We're going back to present moment, right? Present with what you're doing. That's super important. So it's not the number of things you do, but the efficiency of each separate action that counts. It's either a success or failure. Every act in itself is either a success or failure. It's either efficient or inefficient. And it may be that you have a conversation with your spouse. You're like, look, I need 30 minutes. I got to send these messages. I need you to watch these kids. They're your children. You partake in that process that made them. Watch them while I go do this. I need to do this. I need some time, right? Or like, like I said to me today, I'm like, I gotta do some errands. I had one of the girls from camp here with Taylor. I'm going to go take these 3 hours. This is my 3 hours to get all the things done that I want to get done. And then I took some more time this afternoon. Taylor was chilling. She was just stretching out. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take some more time to do this, do these things, be present with what you're doing, efficient in what you're doing. Okay. So every inefficient act is a failure. And if you spend your life doing inefficient acts, your whole life will be a failure. And the more things you do, the worse for you if all your acts are inefficient ones. On the other hand, every efficient act is a success in itself. And every act of your life is an efficient one. Your whole life must be a success. The cause of failure is doing too many things in an efficient manner and not doing enough things in an efficient manner. So the cause of failure is doing too many things in an inefficient manner and not doing enough things in an efficient manner. You will see that it is a self-evident proposition that if you do not do any inefficient acts, and if you do a sufficient number of efficient acts, you'll become rich. You might want to reread that part. If now it is possible for you to make each act an efficient one, you see again that the getting of riches is reduced to an exact science. Doing things efficiently, being present in what you're doing. If you're going to sit down to your gratitude journal, sit down to your gratitude journal. Be present with it. If you're going to sit down to do a meditation, don't do it when people are in your house going crazy. Do it early in the morning when nobody's awake, or late at night when nobody's awake, or maybe during the day when no one's available, no one's around, right? Get in your car. I can't tell you how many times I've got in my car. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to go leave the house early. I'm like, when I have to go pick Taylor from school, I'm going to leave early, and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to do a 10-minute meditation in the car while I'm sitting in my car. No one knows if your eyes are closed what you're doing. Who cares? I mean, who cares? At the end of the day, who cares what other people think, right? I don't care. You know how many times I've been to the beach? Hundreds. Doing a walking meditation. And the first time Brent went with me, he's like, what are you doing? Like, your arms are in the air. You're kind of you're breathing and stuff. What do you do? Like, people are, I'm like, are you joking right now? I do not give a crap about what these people on the beach think about what I'm doing or not doing. They may think I'm doing yoga or qigong. I don't know. Who cares? I don't care. They're not putting money in my bank account. Connecting to source is putting money in my bank account. And at the end of the day, that's what gives me the choices and the options and the freedom in my life. So I'm going to go do the things that I want to do, and I don't care what other people think. So being efficient and present with what you're doing is so important. So important in that action, that you're present in that action. And this is too, you guys, like I said, I took my kids with me. I took Taylor with me because when she was little, she was so well behaved. I took Trey with me when he got just a little bit older, around that 5 age for a boy. He was so well behaved. If your children are not so well behaved, don't take them. Don't take them, because if they're out of control, you're not present. The people around are like freaking out. They're not present. I've been to parties at Starbucks and they're like, the kids are crazy and out of control. And it's like, that's not good for anybody. And I'm not saying I want you to be there, but I'm just saying, get someone, be really prepared with who can watch my kids, who can take care of these kids while I go do this. And if they're good, great, bring them. I mean, it was Carla's house earlier this year, and Caitlin's like, hey, can I bring my boys? And I'm like, I'm sure. Can they sit there and play on one of their things and be quiet? Of course they can. They're like, what, 5 and 7? They can sit there and play on something. They were angels. They sat right there on our couch, and they were little angels the whole time. Totally fine if they can be little angels. If they're not little angels, like, beat the shit out of them or don't bring them, right? So I'm like, no. You got to, because everybody needs to be present. Everybody wants to be present, right? And so be mindful of that as we're now all starting to get back out and stuff too. I I don't take Taylor anything with me, and I love her to pieces, obviously, but I'm not taking her with me because I don't know what mood she's going to be in. She's 17 years old, and if she's not listening to what she wants to, or people are too loud or talking, she can't handle too much voice, too much going on, I'm not going to take her. I'm not going to put her in that situation. I will not do it. It's not fair to her. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to anybody else. It's why I'm sitting here right now in a room all by myself. I can't even have the dog snoring. That's not being present when I got a dog snoring in my background, right? You know? So I want to be present for what I'm doing. You want to be present for what you're doing too, because it's like it's a magnet. When you can lock into that present moment, it's that magnet, okay? So being efficient. Missy, you have one of those teens, so you can so relate. Yeah. If they can't be quiet, it's a no. You're not going. You need to sit, chill. This is one time where I want you to sit, chill. If you're not going to partake and listen and be a part of it, then be on your thing and do whatever you're doing. Or you're not going. You're staying home. Yes. Okay. So you can make each act a success because all power is working with you, and all power cannot fail. Power is at your service. And to make each act efficient, you only have to put power into it. Every action is either strong or weak, and every action is strong. You are acting in a certain way, which will make you rich. Every act can be made strong and efficient by holding your vision while you are doing it and putting your whole power of your faith and purpose into it. It's at this point the people who separate mental power from personal action fail. So this is important. So this is how you make it strong. You have to be able to do things efficient, and you have to understand this part, that every action is strong or weak, and every act can be made strong and efficient by holding your vision while you're doing it. And I'm not saying like, I am Ruby, I'm Diamond while you're trying to do a party or talk to people. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying having that vision, you know what your goal is. Before I go into an event, I have that vision of what my purpose is, what my plan is, and I have that faith and belief that I'm going to be able to deliver that information, right? I'm going to be able to deliver that value to people. So the power of the mind is in one place at one time, and they act in another way in another place at another time. So their acts are not successful. So if people, they fail, right, when they separate their mental power from personal action. So you've got to make sure those two are combined. If all power goes into every act, no matter how commonplace, like I said, personal messages to people, when you're present, right there, all power goes into every act, no matter how commonplace, every act will be a success in itself. And since it's the nature of things that every success opens the way to other successes, your progress toward what you want and the progress of what you want toward you will become increasingly rapid. This is huge right here. So I talk about in this business, there's a snowball effect. You start doing this business, you start sending out your messages, you're having events online, in person, I'm patting a snowball together. How many of you guys have had a snowball in between your fingers, in your hands, right? You don't just like pick up snow and poof, it's a ball. You've got to do this to it. It takes a little bit of time. Now to turn that ball into an avalanche, what kind of momentum is going to happen? It's a constant spin. Like you don't just take a snowball and roll it down a hill and poof, there's an avalanche that wipes out hundreds and hundreds of acres. It doesn't work that way, does it? No. So this right here is your putting your snowball together. And if you have that present, daily, consistent activity with your present self, and that snowball starts going down the hill, and you're consistent, and you're plugging in, you're grounding, you're doing your journal, your gratitude journal, you're meditating, you're sending your messages, you're reaching out to new people, you're creating your own ideas, you're tapping into your own creative source. You decided to put something together at your local Starbucks because everybody's going to Starbucks. Nobody's not going to Starbucks. People are still going to Starbucks, trust me. And they're all open now. So anyway, in Florida, if you're not in Florida, you might want to move to Florida. I don't know. We're open. But anyway, right? Move to where it's more beneficial to be in your business. If you live in Michigan, get out of Michigan. Michigan is like, blah, right? So your snowball is going and going and going. And that's what he's talking about here. Whenever you, right? The nature of things is that every success opens a way to another success. So your progress toward what you want. The progress of what you want towards you will become increasingly rapid. Successful action is cumulative in its results. Since the desire for more is inherent in all things, when a person begins to move toward larger life, your snowball starts going down that hill. You've signed up 2 customers, now 3. Now you just signed up your 4th. Oh my gosh, you got your 6 loads. You got your 115 free product. Boom, I just got a distributor. Oh my gosh, I just sold some samples. People want Skinny Brew. I sold samples. Oh my gosh, you see what I'm talking about? That's your snowball. Whoa, I just went Ruby. How did that even happen? I don't even know how I just went Ruby. Oh my God, I got a girl on my team that's going Ruby. She just got 3 more distributors. I don't even know what to do. How do we do all this? We're all doing this together, right? But it's still that constant, consistent action. You're staying consistent with those things efficiently in the present moment. What happens here is successful action is cumulative in its results. Since the desire for more is inherent in all things, when a person begins to move towards larger life, more things attach themselves to him, and the influence of his desire is multiplied. You understand that? Like, that is huge. The universe likes fast. Success likes speed. If you will stay consistent, turn off the TV. Nobody gives a crap about Netflix binge shows. They're not paying you. You're paying Netflix to binge out. And you're also costing yourself your future and your family's futures for generations to come. Because success likes speed. Do every day all you can do in that day, and do each thing in an efficient manner. In saying that you must hold your vision, yes, Roseanne all day. Oh my God, I love that show as a kid. She was hilarious. My mom and dad used to watch that. In saying that you must hold your vision while you are doing each act, however trivial or commonplace, I don't mean to say it's necessary at all times to see the vision distinctly to the details. Spend your spare time in that. In your working hours, you need only to mentally refer to the picture to stimulate your faith and your purpose and cause your best effort to be put forth. If you want it fast, spend your spare time in the practice of holding the vision, not in watching people making millions on TV. You have to be very protective of your time, your space, the people that you're with, and you have to make decisions on who you surround yourself with, what's important to you, and convey those. Hey, guess what? Things have changed. This is me now. Like, if you didn't know me, from yesterday to today, let me reintroduce myself, because I've learned new things from yesterday to today. I'm not the same person I was yesterday. My mind has expanded in new ways. My vision has expanded in new ways. And I have talked to new people, and I've learned new things. And that for me, that's like life. That is life. That is life, is to expand and to grow and to be able to contribute to other people. Prime example. So tonight I did the post on I was just sitting there. I've literally put the book on my leg, and I was like, oh, Nigel looks so cute. I actually took a picture of her initially, and then I thought, oh my God, no, I can't deal with one more person and their dumb comment about her collar. So I took that one down. I made her get off the thing, and I popped up another one without her on it. So anyways, because I wanted people to get the point of the book. I didn't want to start I don't need your debates, right? You do you, I'll do me, we're all good. So this lady commented on my post. My post was about the I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but it was about the science of getting rich. And you guys see that? And I was talking about, I just literally put the picture up, and all of a sudden all these words started coming out. I'm like, oh, wow, okay, blah, 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 blah. So I just posted basically that, this is the first book I read. I read it hundreds of times over and over again, never stopped reading it, and it's made millions of dollars. So this lady, I don't even know who she is, and she says that. She says, you mentioned it almost 3 weeks ago, and I was invited to do a 21-day abundance challenge by Deepak Chopra. Totally went hand in hand. I cannot thank you enough for mentioning the book. I appreciate you so much, Stacey. You don't even know who I am, and you've impacted my life in so many ways for the highest good. Thank you. This book. And so that's what she commented on my post. I don't know who she is. I don't even know where this lady is. I have no clue. We have 4 mutual friends in common. I don't even know who she is. 4 mutual friends in common, and her mutual friend, they're from my friends from back in Kentucky. So Yeah, I don't even know who she is. But anyways, and then another girl comes on here, one of my brand new loyal customers. She said, this is so weird. I was thinking earlier today how I wanted to ask you the top 5 books that you think are life-changing. And then poof, there she goes. So that's what I'm talking about, you guys. It's just that staying tapped in and that present moment and that creative moment, holding that vision, your purpose. I know what my purpose is. I know what my vision is. I know what my mission is. I know what things that I want, my things that I desire. And I'm having that faith and putting my best foot forward. And you don't know who you're impacting. Like this lady, Sandy, I need to even look. I don't think she's a customer or distributor of mine. I don't even have a clue. I don't know. So it's not about, are you my customer? Did you buy from me? Did you sign up? Are you on my team? It's about putting that impact out there and making a difference in the world. And every little thing, because of it works, I have now lowered my blood pressure medication. Because of it works, I have now gotten off my medication. Because of it works, I have now been able to pay for daycare. Because of it works, I'm able to put new shoes on my kids. They all get new shoes. Those little things are the inspiration. And that's your snowball. That's your snowball that you're building, right? You're building that inspiration, that you're building the momentum with things that you're adding value to people with. That's so important. And so he ends this chapter, and I'm going to read this part because, again, you've got to write it. You've got to read it on a daily basis. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought. God, that's God, you guys. That's source, that's the universe, that's God. A thought, your thought in this substance, your thought out there in the space, right? This is space. I can't feel anything here. That means there's God in here. All source is all around me. Where I'm not touching, whoops, there's me. Okay, well, here's everything else. There's more out there that you can't see than what you can see. That source, that substance is alive. That's science. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. That's quantum physics. That's science. It's alive. Again, he says, the thinking stuff from which all things are made, original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner space of the universe. A thought in this substance, your thought, that I want to be a millionaire. Your thought produces the thing, and it's imaged by the thought. A person can form things with his thought. Maybe you wanted to just start with getting your 6 oils. Maybe you just want to get started with being Ruby. Whatever your thought is, okay? By impressing your thought upon formless substance can cause the thing you think about to be created. In order to do this, again, this is science right here. This is the proof. In order to do this, a person must pass the competitive to the creative mind. You must form a clear mental picture of the things you want and do with faith and purpose all that can be done each and every day, doing each and every separate thing in an efficient manner. Being present, staying connected. And he says in this, read this book every day. Don't slam read it before you hop on the Zoom real quick tonight. Or don't not read it because you got too busy chilling with friends, doing whatever you were doing, hanging with the BFF, whatever, and you just didn't read it and you popped on. So if that happened, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying you're going to have to recollect yourself, decide what your vision is, what your desires are, what you want, and hold steady to the action to be able to start to receive those blessings for what you do want. That means you're going to cut away things that you don't need to be partaking in right now, because you have a goal, right? You have visions, you have things that you want to accomplish and achieve, and so you're going to have to put the other things aside. There's no top income earner in this company that's like, yeah, I binge watched everything on Netflix and promoted to ambassador this month. Did it, done, didn't even work, it just happened. No one sleeps during that time period that you're promoting. You don't get paid $20,000, $30,000+ a month and actually like watch TV and sleep and hang out and chill with your friends down at the beach and do nothing. You just don't. You make sacrifices and you stay focused and present in your efforts, in your actions every single day. That's where the blessings start to come and they start to multiply. And when you do put your energy into something, there it goes. You're going to start to see that as you stay consistent with it, you're that magnet. And it starts coming back to you tenfold. Kind of mind-blowing. So I would ask, this is what I ask on a daily basis. I ask to stay tapped in, tuned in, turned on, connected to source. And I ask that everything that I do is put in front of me in such a way that I have no way to dispute that it's divine. It is God speaking to me, and this is my next step. I live for the synchronicities in life, the mind-blowing things that say, you just can't make that shit up. That's God. There's no other way to describe that because I cannot make it up. I want to live in that sweet spot, and I'm not locked into it all the time. I want to live in that sweet spot. I know what it feels like, which is what I strive for every single day, is connected so much to divine that I know that every person that I'm coming in contact with, the ripple effect of the blessings is going to go beyond my wildest dreams. Because I know when I lock in and connect to something, that's going to make an impact on people. And that's what I want. Remember, I'm here from growth and contribution, and I want to be able to contribute to the world as a whole as much as I possibly can, but not staying wrapped up in the fact that shit's crazy out there and it's bad and it's wild and it's nuts. It's just looking at how can I stay centered and focused and be a blessing, not only to my family, but to others, and cut away what doesn't serve that, right? So that's chapters 10 through 12. Next week, we will finish the book with chapters 13, 14, 15. 16 is literally like just repeating that with the other things that he adds on to it. So it's not really very much at all. So we'll do the last 4 chapters of the book next Wednesday. If you guys have any questions, comments, anything, obviously you guys are in the chat. So I love that there's interaction there, and some of you guys are sharing some things and posting things. Feel free to. It's your platform to share anything that you want. And I look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday.